Hello everyone, welcome to a new video of the Indicator Store. On today's video we are going to review step by step how you can automate the signals of an indicator and then optimize those signals. And you don't need nothing, okay, with your indicator and the tools included with NinjaTrader. You only need an indicator with signals. Like for example, this one we can see it has signals. And the most important, those signals are exposed, they are plots, as we can see here. This indicator in particular is the super trail, and as you can see, there are two signals, two plots. The names are end long and end short. Okay? So this triangle is end short. So instead of using this as a trailing stop, you can use it to enter a signal. So you can start a long when you have an end short. Make sense? Anyway, the names of the plots can be different. The idea is when you have a plot at the moment you want to enter long, okay, then you have everything. This is the minimum that you need. So you need to create a strategy, because then not only you can automate those signals, but you can use the strategy analyzer, and with that tool you can find which are the best parameters to use. So let's review step by step. So let's say we want to automate this indicator. Okay, so we go to new strategy builder. Now we select on new strategy. Next, choose a name for your strategy. For example, with super trail. This name, you cannot use spaces, okay, because this is the name of a file. It is not possible to leave spaces or use special characters. We are going to work at bar close. We can ignore this. And here the input parameters. The input parameters are whatever you want to optimize. Usually we want to optimize the target, the stop, and all the parameters of your indicator. Okay? So we need to know which are the parameters of my indicator. In this case, we have only 3 parameters. Okay? I am going to take a screen capture of this. So I don't forget it. And the plots that I want to detect and automate are end long, those triangles. So end long is to enter short, and end short is to enter long on this indicator. If you want to automate another indicator, the signals and the plots can be different. Okay. Now, let's add the parameters one by one. Clicking on add here. So I want to define and automate and optimize the target, because I have no idea which is the best target to use. As default, you can place any number because it's the optimizer, the one who is going to decide which is the best number. The same for the stop. And then the parameters of your indicator. So we need these parameters, okay? You can choose any name. I suggest using something similar to the names of the indicator, so we don't forget. The only problem is we cannot use spaces. For example, if I want to type ATR length, this name is invalid, okay? And there's no problem. We can use any symbol or no signal at all, no symbol at all. I prefer using the, I don't know if you can use a minus. No. Okay, no problem. You can use this symbol. The ATR length by default is 14. You can see, so we can place that number, the default. Then we have the HMA period. HMA period. 50 is the default. These two numbers are integers, okay? But the third parameter, it has a decimal. So we need to use double. The double has decimals. And it is a multiplier. By default is 4.618. But the minimum can be less than 1. So be careful with this. Okay, we want to have the option to place, for example, 0.5. So I am going to place 0. It cannot be negative. And that's all. Those are all the input parameters of my strategy. Next, now on this section we define the logic, and we only need two logics, one for the longs, another for the shorts. And at the top we set the conditions for my long. In this case, I only want to automate the signals. I don't want to add any special logic. So I am going to check if the indicator has this plot. Okay? So add, search your indicator. In this case is the TIS Super Trade. Here. And you can find at the bottom the parameters. We already saw it has 3 parameters. So now we need to map each one of those parameters to those that we added to our strategy. For example, HMA period, set user input, HMA period. Then the multiplier, user input, multiplier. And finally the ATR length. Okay? Perfect. So now we have the indicator with the parameters correctly set. Now, what I want to check? I want to check if the plot of that indicator, which one of them? For a long, I want end short. Okay? So end up. I guess it is end up. Okay, we can try. There's no problem. We can try, and if it is not this one, we can try with the other. So I am going to test end up. That should be a short. So end down should be a long. Okay. So which is the value of this plot? Usually it has no value until we have a signal. And which is the value of that signal? The price where it is painted. Okay. So I only need to check that it is not equal to 0. And the 0 is inside miscellaneous, numeric value, 0. Okay. So the indicator with all the parameters, the plot that I think is the long signal, and it should be not equal to 0. When this is true, do something. Okay. What can we do? First of all, I want to check if this is the plot I want. So instead of placing an order, by now we are going to paint the background. So we add an action. We have 3 different things to do: drawing, executing orders, or doing something extra. We are going to paint the background. It is inside drawing, and we have several options. I prefer set background color in color blue, so we know that it is detecting something that we think is a long. Okay. Now for the shorts, it is simple because we can right click, duplicate, and now we have an exact copy, and we can transform these to shorts. First of all, change the color. Something not so dark, let's say coral. Okay. And here on the indicator, we select the plot that we suppose is the shorts. And I think it is end up. Where we are finishing an up move, we have a short. Let's see if this is true, okay? The condition is the same. The plot needs to be different to 0. So this is ready, okay? So now we can click on compile. We need to wait. And now we can apply the strategy to the chart and see if the signal, the background paints are correctly placed. So strategies. The strategy currently is not placing orders. It's only painting the background. The name was Wiz Super Trade. Here. We can see that all the parameters are visible and they are the same than the indicator. 14, 50. Okay, they are the same. We can click on OK and then enable from Control Center or enable from here. And click on Apply. And we can see the signals, okay? Or we can just leave the strategy not enabled, and we can control also from the Strategies tab on Control Center, on and off, okay? And we can see that we are correct. It is painting in blue where we have a long, painting in orange or whatever when we have a short, okay? So now that we are sure that the plots are those, now we can place orders. We have two tabs, longs and shorts. Okay, where we paint in blue, we also add the order management, enter long. Okay, and on the second tab, enter short. Okay, and now that we placed orders, we need also to specify which are the target and the stop. This is on the following step. Next, and now we click on add a target. I prefer to specify the targets in ticks. Okay, so ticks, and now we map this value to the parameter that we added to the strategy, the target. User input, target. Okay, and now we do the same with the stop in ticks and linked to the input parameter stop. Okay, okay, we check, it is correct. Next, finish, and that's all. And this is the process to automate any indicator that has signals. And now the indicator should be the strategy. The strategy should be placed in order. We can check if we disable and enable again. Now we can see that there are orders. Those are historical orders. Now the question is, and which are the parameters? Okay, this is the second and the most important part, because now we have the indicator automated, but we don't know the settings. So we go to New, Strategy Analyzer, and for the Strategy Analyzer, we can speak for hours, because this is a really powerful tool. But let me explain the basics, okay? First, we select the strategy with Super Trail here, we can see all the parameters, but we are on backtest. Okay? I don't want to backtest. I want to optimize. When we select on optimization, now each parameter has a range. So I want to test the strategy with a target between which number and which number. Okay, so this is you can spend a lot of time with this because there are so many options and features that will take a video too long to explain. But let me show you the basics. Let's try to do a really quick optimization. So we can test different targets, let's say from 50 to 300 in intervals of 50. Why in intervals of 50? To make it fast. Okay, we are not searching, we are not looking for the best of the best parameter. We just want to detect which is the area where are the best targets. Okay, we need small targets, big targets. The same for the stop, between 50 to 300 in intervals of 50. Now, do you want to optimize the ATR length? That depends on what you want to do. Usually, that depends on the indicator. The ATR is the volatility, we already know, and the default parameter is 14. Usually, we don't change this number. I will leave this parameter to the end. If nothing can make it work, we can also try with this. But we know that the most important on this indicator are the multiplier, because the bigger the multiplier, the less number of trades, and the HMA period. The smaller the period, the faster the action or the movement of this line. So we are going to test HMAs and multipliers. Now, how fast can be the HMA? I have no idea. We can try from 10. You can try visually to detect which are logical values. I guess it should be something between 10 and 100 in intervals of 10. So we test 10 different combinations here. But we have also different combinations of targets and stops. Okay? And for the multiplier, I guess if we use a multiplier too small, maybe 0.5, we get a lot of signals. And if it is too big, let's say 5, we almost get no signals. Each vertical line is a day. So we get a low number of trades per day. So we can try between 0.5 and 5. Okay? 0.5 to 5. In intervals of how much? I want 10 intervals. So 5 divided by 10 is 0.5. So we test 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and so on, more or less 10 combinations. In total, we have a lot of combinations, of course. Okay? So I want to test which instrument? NASDAQ, NQ, in 5 minutes. Okay, and we are testing the past. How far in the past? The end date is today. Okay, today. Maybe yesterday, so it is a complete day. And also to the past. How far to the past? And this is something that I prefer to use the minimum interval as long as we have enough data, okay? Because having 5 trades is not a good statistic. In my opinion, I think that we should get a lot more than 100 trades. So the statistic is valid. So just as a starting point, we can select starting from today minus 3 months. 1, 2, and 3. From more or less in the beginning. Okay? And if we don't get 100 trades, we need to extend this date interval. I want to include commissions, and then we are testing a lot of combinations and sorting the results by the optimization fitness. And there's a lot to talk about this. I explained all of this in my training sessions, but the best, in my opinion, parameter to use is the profit factor. But not the profit factor. We have some custom optimization fitness, like for example, checking that we don't have less than 100 trades. But let me test this. This is the default, okay? And the optimizer, if you select default, it is going to test all the combinations, okay? Each one of the different targets multiplied by each one of the different stops. So maybe there are a lot of combinations. We can check. You can click on run and see how many combinations you have. In this case, this number is not so big, so you can wait that number in 1 minute. But if I add more resolution here, like for example, an increment of 25, then we have twice that number. So don't worry if you get 100,000 combinations or 1 million combinations. That's normal. The problem is there's no way to wait so much. So in that case, we have the genetic method. So I am going to make a pause here on the video. Okay, now it is just about to finish. And what we get are 10 different results of all the 3,600 different combinations sorted by profit factor. Okay, because this is what we selected here on the optimization fitness. And you can see that we are selecting only 10. You can show me all the 3,600 results, and you can export this to Excel. But currently, we are only interested in the first. Some numbers that you can check are the win percentage. Okay, I am not going to do any comment about this. If you are interested in more, you can subscribe to my training sessions where we explain step by step how to analyze this. But let's take a look at the analysis. You can see the equity curve for each solution. You can say, okay, and which are the settings? When you select a solution, the settings are enclosed in parentheses here, okay? Again, there's a lot to talk about this, about the order field resolution, the optimizer, but I don't want to make this video so long. Hope this video has been useful, and if you have any question, we have a chat room on Discord. The access is free, and the instructions are on the description of this video. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.